On today's Minute of the Apes, I have opened Richard's eyes to a new aspect of Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.
Wow.
Take your sticky paws off me, you damn dirty ape!
Exercise with an ape maker, human down. Then talks. There's a divine bound.
We are determined to know what the apes want, war or peace.
The only good human is a dead human!
And if it is man's destiny one day to be dominated, then, oh, please, God, let him be dominated by such as you.
Hello and welcome to Minute of the Apes, the daily podcast where we break down every minute of the Planet of the Apes movies, 1 minute at a time. And I stepped on Richard really having the mind-blowing boom that Sean just gave him. You know, we've never hidden how much we all three love playing the game, or love. I don't know if it's love.
Or addicted to, obsessed with,
Yes, and
slavishly playing.
This began with me having what they call a Zeta, which unlocks the big abilities, and I was like, I don't know where to spend it. They convinced me to spend it on Vader because I get some badass stuff. And then Richard even came in and was like, hey, I kind of gotten to the end of this. And then Sean is the sage of wisdom about this that told him, spend
it this way.
My son,
like,
spend.
oh, yeah.
I wonder, you know, I'm going to ask people that listen to this, is there anyone out there that listens to this that plays this game too? You know, are we just completely, is our obsession torturing you? And if it is, I'm sorry, we're going to continue to talk about it.
Yeah.
Anyway, here we are, minute 68. Sean, why don't you tell us what's going on with minute 68?
All right, we start minute 68 with apes going towards humans and ends with an enraged Caesar charging the security forces.
Let's take a listen to minute 68 of Conquest of the Planet of the Apes.
Ready. Aim. Fire. Ready.
As of minute 68, we have a courtyard with the gorillas, chimpanzees, orangutans, imported apes, Caesars, the lost apes of ape management, the lost security guards of ape management. We got that one crispy fried guy in ape management. I forgot about him. Armando's still not here. And I think at this point, it's not going to get better.
Yeah, I think that the proverbial ape throwing the shit at the fan has officially occurred. Would we not agree?
Yeah.
Here we are. We get fire. We get annihilation of apes. We get the bad stuff. But Richard, before you joined on the call, Sean and I both were commenting as we get this. That doesn't look so much like blood splattering from them from being shot, but it looks more like somebody threw a paintball at them.
Uh-huh.
Oh, what, the blood on the ground?
Well, see, okay, I knew that was going to happen because in your version,
we have
you don't
different
get
stuff
this.
now. All right.
In your version, which is the theatrical release, they cut shots. You actually get a chimp's face and blood goes.
Oh, yeah, it didn't happen in my minute. Wow. Not in my theatrical cut, no.
So whenever I decided this week to flip over and, you know, watch the unrated extended cut, I also watched a documentary about a lot of it. And one of the really interesting things about it is they felt that they had a film that was very in step with the times because of the race riots and whatnot, but they also still believed that they had a G-rated film, and that was with the violence that we see. They took it to a sneak preview and began to realize, as parents took their kids out of the theater before the ending of it, that they had a problem. And suddenly there was panic that ensued, and it's this end of it that Sean and I've seen that you didn't, that made them go back, recut it, cut out. You still had the ape revolution, but you didn't show shots of blood splatter.
The guard keeper on fire,
right? And then eventually later in the movie, I said this last week. There's actually a shot where they rack the shot differently. Instead of the butt of rifles coming down, they're drawn away as though they're stopping their violence. So it's this moment that ensued the split. Do we have a theatrical cut? Do we have the eventual unrated cut?
So they had a G rating with a guy being on fire and the apes getting splattered with blood?
No, they thought, what the producer says, they thought they were going to get a G rating until this point in the film when people began to walk out. And then when they went back and started cutting, that's when they started saying, you can't burn a guy, you can't splatter their faces. Even, I'll say a splattering of blood like that is pretty harsh for even a PG rated film today.
Yeah, here, I'm Richard. I'm going to go back and I'll show you what we saw.
So as he's looking at that, we get the shooting and we see a number of apes actually going down in a blaze of gunfire. Right. We cut over to Caesar, and I'm sure you still get the Caesar's reaction shot when he hears the gunshots. That's a great moment when Caesar realizes that his fellow apes are being shot. I do wish it would have gone for a close-up. It's almost like I want to see the close angle of the anguish in Caesar's face, and we don't get that. That's such a...
True. It's a good point. I mean, he's doing a lot of cheek puffing.
Yes, he does.
That kind of anger thing that he does, but we're not getting... Yeah, we could use a little more.
It if our story is Caesar leading these apes, and he has to feel to an extent as though he's the savior leading them to the promised land or out of oppression, he should feel the rage when they're just mowed down. I don't know what he was expecting other than for them to be mowed down. We've seen the guards, we've seen guns, we've seen things like that. But I just want to see the anguish in his face. Now, we do get shots of the soldiers after they've mowed down, and I'm curious if Richard gets this. After they've shot the police, there are shots of the police guards, whatever, and a couple of them are laughing. Do you get shots?
No, I don't get any laughing. If anything, they're just kind of sitting there in silence, like they've just done something, and like there's a weird, awkward, like we're just calm and nothing is going on.
Yeah, when we go to that shot, it's two guards down, maybe. Those couple of guards right in that area are looking at each other and smiling like, yeah, we just blew away some apes. And it really. It's a very harsh feeling.
I mean, I see like a line of about 5 of them, right? 5 or 6 of the guards.
Right.
And they are kind of looking around. I guess there's a little bit of a smile. If there was a laughter moment, it wasn't in my shot, but there's definitely kind of a little bit of a smile.
Well, I had a note about that.
They might cut away before that because he really does. I watched it 2 or 3 times. I'm like, okay, is he just smiling or is that laughter? And he really kind of gets him. And so they may have cut that down. Sean, do you want to show him that shot again?
Oh, did you see that, Richard? Hang on.
Mm-mm. No, sorry.
Turn my camera back around. So it's a still frame, but you can just see the blood that just looks like that just splattered on its face. But that's supposed to be, I'm assuming they're saying this is the ape that got shot, but that doesn't make sense because the blood wouldn't splatter onto him. Shot, the blood would be coming out of him.
Maybe the ape beside him is the one that got shot, and their head going boom is what splatters on him. I'm sorry to be gross, but that would at least make some sense.
But going back to the guards and their attitude, I had a note about that as well, because is this the first ape uprising that's ever happened, or just happened before? Because they take a shot, the apes go down, and they're just now casually just hanging out.
Yeah, it's the casually hanging out that was weirded me out, because Caesar's trying to run up to the scene, and the guard's like, "Cool, awesome, we're done. Do we go home?
Okay.
That's great.
We
Cool.
killed all these apes.
Yeah, it was too many shots of them just being relaxed after this moment. Like if you just shot a group of apes down, and we saw like what, 6 or 7 go down on the ground maybe, and we saw the rest kind of scurry off.
Yeah, run off.
Wouldn't they have been given an order then to advance or do something?
Chase them down.
Exactly, not just kind of casually hang out. Well, I guess that's it. Cool.
All right, I guess they'll just run away and go home now.
Good job, boys. Let's go get some brews.
But I think that those go kind of hand in hand with what I was saying a couple of minutes ago, that it feels like these guards are not present in this world together. You have these people. Once again, let's imagine that we have had a moment where they said Ape Command is at the center of the city, and these different sectors are guarded off by a platoon of 50 guards. If they were saying sector C clear, even if they were saying anything, it would say what they're doing.
Right.
But there's no communication.
Right.
Go ahead.
We need to know if they're about to go to the next area. We need to know what the next command is for these guys, not this lingering moments of them like, cool, great.
A direct correlation to this kind of thing is, and here comes a Star Wars reference, but the Death Star battle at the end, being that the Death Star is the center part, they've described what it is, and you start getting red 5, gold, whatever, and all these people are different people attacking the same thing. If you really just watch it, you can't tell where they are, because that damn Death Star, it all looks the same, but at least they're communicating and they're going towards a central goal. There's no communication here.
There is either tomorrow or Friday, one of the 2 minutes, that I'm going to bring up something they finally decide to use.
Okay.
That really needed to be here.
Okay. These are not bad minutes. It's just, and again, I actually started this week with a new thing that I'm going to start doing, and I've never done before. I'm going to watch those 5 minutes straight through. I've always just gone, here's our minute. I'm watching it. I want to see how they play, because when you watch it, it's just flat when you watch the 5. But they make sense, at least from there's a threat of apes coming to them. I always feel, I just don't want people who love these movies to think we're tearing it apart. But
I think anybody watching these particular moments would be okay with us talking about the lack of intensity that needs to be happening during these scenes. I mean, there are shock moments. There's the gas. There's the death of the ape. There's the guards approaching. But when you really expand it out into these 3 to 5 minutes, it is very loses some intensity. There's no score to bring it together. There are these quiet moments with the guards just hanging around. That it needs more aggression, and it's not happening. Even if we forgive the idea that they wanted a quiet courtyard before it overwhelms, it's a lot of quiet courtyard, almost too much.
And you've called for a little bit of score, and I'll say my desire to hear a score comes tomorrow, and I'll point out where I was like, why doesn't that have a bonk moment? It felt like it needed a push. So I totally agree with you. There are many beats in this where they could have escalated it to make tension, and they just avoid it.
Well, they really like anytime we saw the convergence of apes in any of the prior scenes as a mass. They do like to do that kind of chaotic sound and music to it. We don't get any of that when they're converging here, and this would almost work for it to have some of these moments where the quiet troops, but then the chaos of the apes, and the quiet troops and the chaos of the apes. Something, I don't know.
Yeah. Sean, did you have something to say? You were starting.
Well, going back to, the lack of urgency and intensity, I know they do that for storytelling reasons, where Caesar comes around the corner and sees his dead companions and, takes a second to gather himself before he gets really mad. But in real life, you'd see all these apes coming around and they just start firing on them again instead of letting them have a second to mourn the dead and prepare to charge and all that kind of stuff.
I kind of thought the same thing. It was like, why is Caesar not seeing the fallen from a different vantage point so that he's not immediately exposed